Welcome to the weekly Woodcast with Dennis and Michael Woodworth, and we have a very special guest in studio today who is making her way through the ranks of country music all the way from Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome to the studio, Autumn Carver.
Hey.
What's going on?
Not much.
You know, it's very cool to have the opportunity to sit down with you because I've known you, well, for quite a few years now, you know, and when I wanted to do this session, I wanted to do it in a way that was very upfront and intimate and asking questions that the people that have watched you, you know, may want to ask or may want to learn about. And this is the beginning of your life, really. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're 18 years old right now, or
17.
close to, say close to 18 years old. If you're graduating from Parkview Education Center this year. Is it Parkview?
Caledonia,
North Queens. Gotta love it. Big shout out to North Queens. So that's one of the infamous places of softball.
Yeah.
God, they can play softball in North Queens.
Yeah.
So, how are things going?
Pretty good.
You're working hard. I know that.
Yeah.
We just talked off camera about your schedule, and I think you're the next craziest person on the planet. Like I used to grow up like so, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing yet. So we'll see. I've loved country music. I love music in general, but country's my favorite. Yep. Hip-hop's my second, going right back to the days of the Sugar Hill Gang. But country music, I go back right to when my parents used to listen to it. Yeah. The Hank Williams. And, you know, Charlie Pride and Conway Twitty and John Williams and all those guys. Yeah. And girls. You know, we've got Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline. And you sing some great Patsy Cline, by the way. So those are really the foundation. George Jones is one as well. Mm-hmm. You got to mention Merle Haggard. Oh yeah. You know, so many legendary people that we've grown up on listening to that usually our grandparents or parents have kind of introduced us to. What really, as an artist, what artist really stood out for you that you really loved to listen to initially?
Well, when I was a younger girl, for old country, Johnny Cash was someone that stuck out to me. I don't know what it was, but he just really stuck. And kids used to laugh because I used to sing Ring of Fire on the school bus when I was in grade primary. And they were like, what is that?
It's a great karaoke song for me, too, so I love it.
Yeah, and it's been old country my whole life, but my idol that has been through my whole life is Alan Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Alan's a great story. I don't know if you know it.
I've seen his
biography. Wasn't that incredible that he worked?
Yeah, he had like books and books of songs that he never took out because he never thought they were good enough. And just pull one out, here you go, and it's like, what?
You know, and then he's a legend now.
Oh, yeah.
He's a legend. Mm-hmm. He's going to, be there in the annals of time of country music forever.
Oh, yeah.
The big Georgia boy, you know.
Yeah.
And it's those kind of artists that the path we talked about earlier, the path is not always the same for everyone. No. You always think this is the way, and most people have probably watched Garth Brooks' most recent documentary on Netflix, and even his story. You look at someone that's like the king. The king, of his generation, and the money that he brings in concerts is enormous. But even he had those butterflies and nerves in the beginning that he didn't think you could make it. No. He even drove to Nashville, turned around and went back home.
He had an alter ego, didn't he?
What?
He had an alter ego at one point.
Yeah. That was Chris Gaines, his name was. And you know why?
Made some good music, too.
Michael's talking about Garth Brooks' alter ego that he created, which is Chris Gaines. And the reason for that is that Garth was so enormously successful at that time. He didn't know where to go in his career. It was like, well, I've gone around the world. I've played in front of 1 million people. He was in Central Park, the largest concert ever since the Simon and Garfunkel concert. Mm-hmm. He just didn't have anything else to do. Nope. So he said, I'm going to make this alter ego and call him Chris Gaines. And Garth Brooks fans didn't like it.
Really? I'll tell you, there's a lot of people on those songs that I saw comments on YouTube that really like that music. And even Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, did a remix of a Chris Gaines track recently.
Yeah, no, he was very popular. But, I mean, Alan Jackson has a songbook of songs that's just, wow.
I know.
Fun. He has some fun songs. He has some great ballads.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and he's got a great voice.
Great. He can sing anything.
And we talked about this off air. He has it.
He does. I know.
You know. So, and music, music's about selling yourself.
It is.
It really is. It's selling what you love, you know, which is the music itself. Mm-hmm. But there's also an image part to country music.
Yeah.
And Alan has that look, you know, the big Georgia boy with the big cowboy hat and the boots and he really presents himself in a way that's very attractive to all audiences in country music. So, what's your favorite Alan Jackson song?
Oh my dear God!
Or a couple that come to mind that just.
When I think of his songs, I think of there's "Remember When."
Oh, of course, which was historical.
Mm-hmm. And "Drive, Daddy Jean."
Oh yeah, and that's one of his early songs, right?
I like all of his songs.
Yeah,
though.
mine was Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That was really one. He had a lot of what I call he had hook songs.
Yeah.
You know, Itty Bitty and
and
Tall Trees and all those songs that just were all hook songs, right?
Then there's a song that he wrote, I think 2012. It's called "You Can Always Come Home."
Yeah.
That's going to be my grad song.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you're at what age did you start wanting to, because you play, when did that start?
Well, when I started going into lessons, I was 8.
Wow.
Yep. And that was when I started piano lessons. Mm-hmm. And so I went into music festivals and started playing piano, and then I'm like, why don't I do voice? I've been singing since I could speak. My grandmother, Debbie, she looked at me when I was born, and she said I had a big mouth, so she knew I could sing. Yeah, that's what she said, apparently. And I guess she was right. Anyway, then I started taking voice lessons when I was that same year and went into the following music festivals and started singing, and it worked out great. And then my parents knew that I wanted to play guitar because Aunt Wanda, I automatically wanted to play when I was younger. I had a little dingy guitar that I'd strum along, couldn't play at all. Here I am just strumming, and she was just happier than anything. And anyway, I got my first guitar when I was 10, 11, I think. And I've been self-taught since last year. And then I got Dave Dobson. He's my guitar coach now.
Fantastic. It's amazing when you want to go to the next level, you need coaches.
Yeah, I knew. I'm
100%.
I can play, but I don't play as good as I want to. When it comes to going in to do my CD and stuff and all that, I want to be able to play.
And if you look at a lot of the women in country music, they don't play on stage.
No.
I would say Miranda Lambert might be one that plays.
There's a new
one. The chicks play.
Ashley McBride.
Ashley, she's fantastic.
Her. She's great.
Yeah, Ashley is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the women in country music, just for whatever reason, I'm sure they all can.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But when you can pay people to come in and play wickedly, it's awesome. But I love playing along, so that's why.
Well, I just think that's country music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you step up with the microphone, if you don't have that guitar,
I don't feel comfortable.
It's
just I feel empty. I feel naked without my guitar.
I know. Yeah. So you're a young girl. You're learning how to play instruments, which means you have music inside of you. Mm-hmm. That automatically means that you have influences that you're learning in the country music world. You have your favorites you're listening to on, at that time, probably CDs. Mm-hmm. And then you're getting in some competitions. When did you start to think, this might be something that may go somewhere?
Well, I went into the South Shore Idol. So after that, and I got to sing with Terry Clark, I'm like, well, maybe this could be something. Because I never really, I'm like, I'm a good singer, but I never thought, I'm not going to be like Carrie Underwood and go out and do that. But after that, and Terry Clark gave me a hug and said, you have a wicked voice. And I'm like, okay, if she's saying something, then it must mean something. So after that, I'm like, well, now I'm going to kick my butt into gear.
You can say ass on the show.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, and do what I got to do what I want to do.
And it's if there's two words that you should write everywhere where you go is be relentless. Mm-hmm. Be relentless, because it's going to take that, because you're going to go in a world that's incredibly competitive.
You're right.
There are so many talented people in the industry that don't even stand on stage as a lead singer.
I know.
Like Linda Davis was a background singer for Reba McEntire for a long time, right?
I know.
She was a background singer, and then eventually took the front stage, you know? So you got to make your way. And the other one I would say is, and this is just from my own relatability in business, is build relationships.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to build relationships along the way, because those relationships you'll be able to rely on along the way.
You're right.
It's a lonely. Everyone thinks fame is, where everyone wants to be until they get there. Mm-hmm. I want to be famous. They get there, they go, I don't want to be famous.
No, I know.
Because your free time, tell the audience how much time you put into each week in, Autumn Carver's life right now at 17 years of age.
Well, on top of school, sports, work, music, and just everything, I don't have any time at all. Maybe nighttime after my shower and go to bed, I have about an hour or so to myself.
But I learned this too when I was incredibly busy, because we talked about we kind of had a lot of relatability in high school. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
I had to be busy.
If I'm not busy, I'm like,
you're bored out of your wits.
What am I doing?
And I can see that in you, that you're not going to just sit around. When you rest, it's usually with family or an event or whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is, it's hard to say, just sitting around, plucking your head on the television all the time. Because people who have that little spark inside of them seem to want to just let that spark go, right? And it's hard to explain to someone who doesn't have that, because it comes with a lot of drive.
It does.
Right? So yeah, I wasn't there the night when you played with Terry.
No,
I was there watching you.
Yeah. And
then, but you've also played with Washboard Union.
Yes.
A couple times, wasn't it? Once or twice?
No, it was only the one time.
One time?
Yeah. But I've been in contact with them after the concert, because after we were done singing and everyone was gone, I went back with them, and they the whole day they just made me feel like I was on top of the world. They made me this special person that was famous for the day, pretty much. And I thanked them very much for that, because I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna sing with these guys, going from singing at a campfire to singing with these guys on stage and everything. I was like, okay, this is gonna be an awkward day anyway. But no, they brought me in, and Jason Benoit was there too, and he was great too. And they all gave me great advice. And whenever I messaged them, I congratulated them on all of their awards and stuff. And then they messaged me and gave me some advice. I sent some of my songs out to them, and they looked at those and gave me some advice on that. And then I needed a reference or something for CCMAs to sign up for that. And Aaron took me in and said he'd do everything for me and get that all done. So We're still in contact all the time.
You need those contacts. You need those relationships.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like mentors. You need mentors along the way, because your musical life is going to take different paths and flows, because influences tell you what kind of creativity you're going to have in your life, what you're going to write about. You think about Alan Jackson, when he wrote Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning, was a moment that he reflected what happened and then wrote it down. Yeah. A lot of people thought about it, but he actually sat down and wrote about it, and to write a song like that was such an impact to everybody, really was a magical moment. And that's when it comes to songwriting. And some people are good songwriters. Other people aren't.
No.
Tim McGraw is a great example. Tim doesn't write a lot of his own songs. No. Kenny Chesney writes some of his songs, but most of the songs come from other influences.
Well, that's George Strait. He just started writing his own music, and he is big.
Well, probably the biggest.
Yeah.
Of his time.
And you would think that he wrote all of it, but no, he did not write a lot of his music at all.
I was actually talking to a couple friends of mine about the song "There Goes My Life" by Kenny Chesney, and I watched a YouTube video of actually the writer who wrote the song. You can see when somebody writes a song how it means so much to them.
Yeah.
They just don't have it. They just that writer is as much a part of country music or more.
Oh yeah.
In some cases than the headliners that sing, because even a guy like Kenny was funny because Kenny Chesney, when he came out of the music industry, was just a good old country boy that was, soft looking. And then Tim McGraw told him, he said, hey, look, you got to be the total package. And if you're going to be attractive, you got to stay in shape. You got to get to the gym. You got to pick the right songs. They can't all be the ballad songs. No. You got to find songs that you can entertain people in arenas. And then he become one of the biggest entertainers in country music history.
I know.
Just from some advice from a guy like Tim McGraw. So, and he's bigger, arguably bigger than Tim is right now. So that's the thing about the business, is it's not just a cookie cutter. You write the songs, go play on stage, and everybody's successful. No. There's a marketing side to this too that's very important. So we talked about it off camera a little bit about there's a musical side that a lot of people that are talented in music, they get taken advantage of because they love music so much.
They do.
They write bad contracts that are not in their favor.
Nope.
And then it takes them years to get out of that contract. And then a lot of them want to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And so the business side is not the greatest side.
No.
You got to be really careful. A guy like Chris Cummings is a great example. I don't know if you know Chris. He's from St. John, New Brunswick. Okay. Chris, arguably probably the most successful country artist. One of them. The Rankins would be there too. But Chris was pure country. He's Nashville. The Rankins were at Nashville. No. Chris Cummings was Nashville. And he actually wrote a lot of his own songs.
Okay.
But he came back to St. John with not a great taste in his mouth because of the business side.
Right.
And probably someone you should reach out to because he could give you a lot of different advice, which would help. And I've got his information. So Chris is a guy, he probably has 25 top 20 singles in country music.
Wow.
So that tells you how really in the early 90s when Alan Jackson was out. So Keith Urban was here in Halifax at the Citadel on the hill.
Yep.
And Chris Cummings was the opening act at that time.
Oh, wow.
From New Brunswick. And I looked at Glenn and said, like, man, this kid can sing. And he had great hooks. He had great songs. And I'm like, he's going somewhere.
Right.
But he left New Brunswick and went to Nashville, and he found out the business side of it.
Right.
And, it's not easy. And that's why management's so important. You need a really good manager. You need somebody that's really going to take care of you, put your interests first.
Yeah.
And then give yourself an opportunity to really succeed and then do what you do best. There's not a lot of Taylor Swifts in the world.
No, there's not.
That girl is one tough woman.
Yeah.
She is, wow.
I know.
She is just an incredible human being. She just, she's done so much good in the world with her music. And she's a phenomenal songwriter. Like,
she is.
I don't know if anybody's better right now than she is.
I know.
So, you graduate from high school this year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
A new chapter.
I know.
So what are your plans?
So, you can't all have it all on music right now, so I'm going to go to university. I got into Acadia, and I'm going to take my Bachelor of Music, and then apply for the Bachelor of Music Therapy, and then take my education degree and go into the schools and be a music therapist / music teacher.
Love it.
Yeah.
You're going into an arena that not everybody succeeds at.
Yeah.
And I think going into it, I think you understand that. So it doesn't hurt to have a background that you can use your
I'm
love.
Have a plan B.
100%, because, and even if you have plan A and you do succeed, not everyone gets to become George Strait.
No, like they have it for so many years and then it's like, okay.
You go another person Canadian country music history that I thoroughly love is Daryl Singletary. He passed away a couple of years ago. He's a big baritone voice, and he has been a great ambassador for country music for Canada. And, you go through that cycle and you become the classic Canadian artist because it's a cycle.
Yep.
You only have a shelf life for so long. And then at that point, you hope that your business decisions go well, that you have something to fall back on. The business side of music today is so different because of things like Spotify and Apple Music. Like,
technology is huge.
And artists can't make the kind of money off album sales like they used to.
No.
So they go on the road a lot, do a lot of concerts. That's why we pay more money for tickets.
Yeah.
Right? So it's evolved, and it's going to become even more different. Yeah. 5 years from now, and I hope that you're in a situation where I go, phenomenal. But that music industry is going to be different. So
totally.
A lot of the corporate owners and managers of those major labels, they write contracts, and they say, hey, you're going to do this many albums, but you're going to play this many shows per year. And then they write that contract, and then you have to, be able to deliver on all of that.
Right.
So it wasn't as important for shows back in the day because album sales were so high that it wasn't as important. Now it is, and critically important.
Very.
So, not to say Spotify and Apple Music and those platforms aren't great, because I have a ton of music on my phone,
I have
right?
like over 2,000 songs.
And it costs Autumn, big brother here, spent a lot of money on records, cassettes, and CDs, and I don't have any of them anymore. Not one. All the money. My mother used to get so mad at me.
Oh, man.
But so Acadia is a great school.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Oh, come on. I mean, what a cultural change for you,
Yeah.
So what does mom and dad think? I mean, talk about your mother and father, talk about your family in general, not just your mother and father, your family in general, because you know what? You got a cool family.
Yeah, I know.
You really do. I love spending time with them every moment that we're together, so talk about them.
Okay. Well, mom and dad, they've always motivated me to do what I want to do. Now that I'm older, they've told me, it doesn't have to be the normal, get out of school, go to school again, and get a job. They told me whatever I want to do is what I'm going to do.
I love it.
And they support me in everything I do, and you probably know that anyway. And I told them that I want to do music, but I'm a person that's not in it for, the big fame.
The dream.
Yeah. I'm in it for, showing people what music means to me and giving them the joy that it gives to me.
I love it.
That kind of thing. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, you just want to do this because you're going to get money and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, I'm doing this because I love to do it, and I want to give that to other people to make them happy in that way. And my grandparents, they're all, ecstatic. Grampy, he is
no kidding. I love it. I love it.
Wherever we go, it's always, oh, this is Autumn, my granddaughter. She's the big country singer. I'm like, yeah, okay. She says that to everybody. After the Washboard Union concert, I was going to work, and he drove me. We made 15 stops.
Wow.
And he told every single person.
Well, come on, Autumn. I mean, how could you not be proud? How could you not be proud?
I'm like, Gramp, it's okay. I need to get to work now. But, yeah, and my aunt, she is a big part of why music is so huge, Aunt Wanda. As she's been playing for a while, a long time. She's great herself. And me and her, when we play together, it's a great time. And we sing a lot more together now because we go to a whole bunch of shows and do duets. And it's helping her a lot, she told me. Because I bring out of her big voice when I sing with her, because she's like, well, I have to compete with your voice too, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, my whole family's very supportive in everything that I do, and they'd never want me to stop chasing my dream. If anything come up, they always want me to go and beat me.
Well, Steve Harvey wrote a book, many books, but one of them talked about your gift, and when you're given a gift, use the gift.
Yeah.
A lot of people never find out they have a gift.
No.
Because they don't explore. And now you were lucky, or fortunate. I won't use the word lucky. You're just fortunate that at a young age, you found out what your gift was. And when someone says, oh, you just want to go do this for money, that comment you made, you've been doing it for free for 12 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. If
So,
I
I mean,
money,
like,
I think I'd stop a long time ago.
I said to Michael one time, I said, would you do something for 10 years for nothing and then get paid $100 million?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you love doing something, you don't do it for the money.
No.
Right? That's just a result of your hard work that you put into it.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody has to buy what you sell.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It's not like it's automatic.
No.
So a lot of those comments come from people that just have envy. That's all it is. And it's unfortunate. It is, but it's reality in life.
It is reality, I know.
It is. Right?
Yeah.
So, and you've seen that already. So
Oh, yeah.
it's your inner circle's small. There's not a big inner circle. If your inner circle's big, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
You're right.
You know, I always say if your inner circle's big, you have too many mouths to feed. Right? And there's too many people that will wedge themselves through those cracks.
I agree.
Right? So, small inner circle. So, okay, so at Katy University next year, that's going to be a 4, 5, 6 year journey.
Yeah.
But you're going to meet a lot of people there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's going to be really
Because I'm in
cool.
music, I'll meet a lot of people that are into the same thing, so it'll be
100%.
really good. It'll be really
100%.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about the journey you're going down to Nashville?
I've thought of it a lot. I've always thought, I'd love doing the concerts. Like, when I did the Washboard Union, I was on a high all night. I was like, I've never felt that before. Like, I went into that, and afterwards, I'm just like, I want to do that again. Let's do it all over again. I'll sleep, and then we'll go and do it tomorrow. But I don't want to be on the road, like, bam, 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 because I want to have, like, time, like, because me and my family are, like, super, super close. But I want to have time with, like, close on close with, like, fans and do, like, little smaller venues and be, like, in with the community and help people. That's, like, one of my big things is helping people and being there for anyone that needs it. Because that's why I wanted to go into music therapy. That's one of the big things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, like, I love music, and I need to incorporate that into
But it's
something.
very therapeutic.
Yeah. And I am a helpful person, and I never want anybody to be unhappy. So that's just something that I want to care for people, and yeah.
Well, music transforms you back to a time. So it doesn't matter if you're 6 years old.
No.
Or if when I was 15 years old, I can hear a certain song and it transcends me right back to that moment. That's how special music is.
It is.
And your brain never forgets it.
Nope.
Never. So you're going in a good direction because music is therapy. It really is.
It is.
And the other thing, you're right. I mean, a lot of people seek fame and fortune, and then they get in the grind.
Yep.
And the grind, what people don't realize is night after night after night after night, same playlist, same songs, over and over again. You're a machine.
Yep.
You're a machine to promote your music for a bigger machine in the business. And that is a huge sacrifice that you have to pay. And I think the path you're taking is a smart one.
Yeah.
Because, you've already experienced that high.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a drug.
Oh, yeah.
It's a drug.
Wild.
And that's why a lot of rock bands get in drug problems in music because they always want that high. When you get off the stage, the high is gone. And then you're in regular life. So those rock band guys.
It was crazy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I mean, bands like Motley Crue and
gosh,
Poison.
That movie on them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, imagine how they lived.
Oh, my God.
How they got through that was very fortunate for them because most people, many of them have died along the way.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a different life. And for your family, that's not the way they want your life to go. There's not a chance they would want that to be that way.
Not at all.
Okay, so as busy as you are, it's another big brother question, but relationships. Have you had any, you're almost 18 years old now, right? Have you fit in a relationship with anybody around here? You don't have to give me any names. I don't need names, but
So I've had this guy. He's been my best friend since I've met him in grade 7 when I went to North Queens. Yeah. And for a long time, I didn't want to get with him because I'm like, well, if I get with them, the relationship's going to screw it all up and I'm going to lose them. And anyway, so I didn't date him for a long time. But a year and a half or so ago, I said, you know what? He's the only guy that's like sees me for who I am and doesn't judge me and
I love it.
Everything. So me and him have been together for about like a year and a half or so.
Well, a lot of songs come from relationships.
Oh, yeah. I actually wrote one about it, so.
A lot of songs come from relationships, let me tell you. And a lot of relatability, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's why people, when they hear songs, they can relate to them, and they actually take them as their own. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. And you know that because you have favorite songs for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So that's what's so special about music.
I know.
So, okay, so how do you fit him in?
Well, after work and stuff, he usually comes over and
he's very patient.
Yeah, he's patient, and he has his busy life because he's a farmer.
Okay.
So he has his horses and he has all of that to worry about. I have all my music stuff, and we're very like I love going to his stuff. He loves coming to my stuff, so we're very like good that way. So whenever we have the chance to get together, we take the chance to get together.
Well, when you have a real relationship, it's not about how much time you spend.
No. And we, at school, like, we're together every day. We're in the same class.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and, like, we see each other through the halls, but, like, at lunch, I'm not with him every dying moment. Like, after school, I'll go and see him for, like, a little bit. And
well, he knows who he's...
Oh, yeah.
He knows.
He knows.
Not to mess.
He knows.
Not to mess. I'm a busy girl.
Yeah, he knows.
And I love you, but not to mess.
Yeah, he knows.
That's good. That's good. So that's really cool when you talk about he works on a farm because if you ever do move to Nashville.
Yeah. He's worked on a farm. He's been
he can look after the farm.
Yeah, he's been raised on a farm his whole life. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So when you think about the music industry itself, what's the best advice you've been given by other artists?
The best?
Yeah.
Don't get caught in the fame.
Yeah.
And be careful.
Well.
Because there's many people that are just going to take you and take advantage of you right away like that. And it just isn't good. So be careful who you talk to and make sure you know that person well before you do anything.
Well, you're a product.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. They look at you as a product. And they do, like, you know, will you fit in the Barbie doll outfit? Will you be a figurine on a shelf that a child, you look at someone like Taylor who, and I go to her again, she's really taking control of her life. She really has.
And I love that.
It's rare.
It is.
You get that choice.
Very. Because I see it all the time, like people, like, you never know if, like, is that actually what they want to do? Is this actually, like, what they wanted to write? And, like, it sucks because some people don't get to actually show what they want to do.
True.
Yep. They get taken advantage of and they get pushed down because the people don't like what they want to do, so they just go along with it and say, okay, so this is the way I'm going to get money, so this is what I'm doing.
It's a big machine. Mm-hmm. And then you get someone who says, I want to be your manager. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm going to look after you. They say, this is my ticket.
Yeah.
Right? The person that you want as a manager is someone that's going to work their ass off. Right? And that thinks of you before them.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Literally.
Because someone like you will look after someone like that if you ever get a chance and you do make it.
Yeah.
Which is not easy, but if you do, you be the first kind of person that would look after someone for being loyal to you like that, because that's what your family's like.
Yeah.
Right?
They're your music family.
You know? But even your own family is they have those qualities already.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you talked about your aunt, your mom, and your dad, and your grandfather. That love is automatic. Like, well, we come to parties or we come to the house or whatever the case may be, and you sit down, you see that energy, you feel that energy, right?
Every time.
So that someone who's going to manage you has to have that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Because that's what it takes. It really does, and it's not an easy business, and you gotta stand up for what you believe in.
You do.
You know, so what are some of your favorite songs? Like in general, I know Alan Jackson's one of your favorite artists, but what's some of your favorite songs?
I don't know right now. I have a very big mix of music.
Well, talk about them. Come on.
So
some of your influences. They can't all be country.
No,
Are they all
not.
country?
No. Number one is always going to be country because that's what I've grown up on. And that's what it's just my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
But I love old rock and hard rock. Love it.
Okay, so when you say old
Ozzy
rock,
Osbourne,
well, that's classic rock. Old rock, Autumn.
Metallica.
Well, that's classic rock too.
Bob Seger.
Oh, Bob Seger is a great songwriter.
CCR.
Yeah.
And people like that.
John Fogerty. John wrote most of the songs for CCR. Yep. Bob wrote most of his own songs. Metallica wrote all their own songs.
Yep. Metallica. Oh my God, they're wicked.
Metallica actually owns a record producing company in Europe that prints records still.
Wow.
They still print records because the actual feeling, the nostalgic feeling you get from putting a needle on a record and just dropping it on and hear the sound from a record that has a groove that plays the music is so unique.
Yeah.
Like when you touch your phone, you don't get that connection,
No.
right? And a record does. So they actually bought the company and kept it. That's in good company. Like those. If you listen to their songs, there's a lot of meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bob Seger has some phenomenal. He has a songbook that's like wow.
I know.
And I grew up on those guys. But you talk about classic rock. We talk about it in our Fishbowl Fridays that we have here once a week. Classic. We're talking way back in the beginning, rock and roll. That's the Beatles. Mm-hmm. That's the Rolling Stones.
Yep.
And the Rolling Stones are very unique. And the reason for that is that they're a rock and roll band, but they were influenced by so many different musical interests. So the blues and country music really affected the Rolling Stones. Another one that's huge in country music, but he was actually not so much a blues, but a rock and roll from the 50s was Ray Charles.
Yes.
Ray Charles has an incredible songbook of music and loved country music. You know, him and Willie Nelson had a great song together, right? So then you get crossovers. So you're using all those musical influences and you're getting creative. Yep. Right? So it's not just cookie cutter country music, you know. And there's some cookie cutter country songs.
Yeah.
You know, I get a very good friend of mine who's on the Fishbowl Fridays. His name is Barry Gillis. He's very knowledgeable musical guy, but he loves different forms of music. And he likes, I call him the B-side guy.
Okay.
He likes the B-side because he doesn't like the hits. He likes to dig into those other songs.
Oh, yeah.
But he'd always say, you know, well, country music's the dog came back, the cat came back. And I'm like, yeah, some of those songs are like that. But if you really dig into the songbook, there's like Independence Day from Martina.
Yeah.
Right? Martina did
I love Martina.
Oh, yeah, she's what amazing. A voice. What a woman. Yeah. I mean, and she was a roadie for Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
You know? Yep. When she was younger, she was a roadie for Garth Brooks. So you just don't you don't know where that path's going to come from. So you just got to open all those doors.
Have you ever heard Tyler Childers? How do you say his name? Childers. He sings White House Road, Nose to the Grindstone.
No, I haven't, but we're going to see it right now.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
It is. It's cool to see when someone you feel it, right? Oh, yeah. Remember I said that it thing? Mm-hmm. When you have it, you don't have to fake. You don't have to. Oh, you don't have to. You have it. You have swag. Yep. Right. You have that swag. You have that way about you because you know you belong. Mm-hmm. You know you put the time in. You know you've made the sacrifice. You have it. And then you say to yourself, okay, now what? Yeah. And then you go on your terms. Like, listen, and that's what's so great about what you're going to do, I think, is that you'll be able to write your own contract because it's not all or nothing. You're not putting it all in on the line and say, oh, well, it's this or I'm out and I have no chance. You're getting a good foundation before you leave. And if there's opportunities along the way, you'll take them. Take it. Yep. Right? But if all doesn't happen, which is the odds for most people, even though I don't think it's for you, I really admire you for having a solid head on your shoulders because not a lot of people will. Now, the dreamer would tell you, I'm a big dreamer, right? Big dreamer. the dreamer would tell you, like, go at it with everything. Mm-hmm. But that's easy advice to give to someone else.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to feel good about yourself. You have to feel good about it inside yourself. And then you have no regrets.
Yeah.
You have no regrets then. You say, hey, you know what? I laid out my plan, and this is where I ended up, and I'm good with that because I did it on my terms. I did what I wanted to do. And it doesn't matter. Like, you could be 35, 40 years old. You'll get there someday. Trust me. Or 50. You'll get to 50 one day, too. And those two words, no regrets, is really important. Let it all hang out. Let it all, the cards on the table, put them out there. But the bottom line is make sure they're your cards. Because a lot of people will have their dreams through you.
Yeah.
If you let them.
Yeah.
Right? So when you look at, for an example, your goals, what was your goal in the beginning for doing this? Like,
in the beginning?
Well, it's not even in the very beginning, because in the very beginning you were 6 years old. But let's just say in the very beginning of when you said, I have something that is, I have talent here. Where would you want to go with it?
Well, automatically, I wanted to go to Nashville, and I've always wanted to sing at the Bluebird. That is like something that pops into my mind. We can do that. Every time. Every time.
You just say, when COVID's over, we're going.
It just pops into my head because that's like where a lot of them like go, and it's like their safe place, pretty much, what you would call it. Anyway, I always wanted to go to Nashville and go on the big old Opry and just sing once. That's all I wanted to do for a long time. That's what I wanted, and because the Grand Ole Opry is like, it just in my head, I'm like, that is like the kingdom of country music.
Okay, so, and you know this because you're connected to the Opry in regards to, the history of it. Mm-hmm. To get in the circle, you got to earn it.
Yeah, me too.
You got to earn it.
You got to earn it.
But when you do step in that circle, in that light, you belong to a fraternity that's like none other.
It's crazy. Ugh.
So, and if you go with a level of confidence, I think the biggest thing, once again, if Big Brother comes out and tells you something, is get that playbook, get that song playbook out, and just get songs. It may not be all your songs.
No.
There might be people that write songs for you along the way. Yep. You need to get a song list that's solid.
Yeah. That
has real grit to it, just like that song we listened to.
Yeah.
That was grit. You could feel that song. People can, it's their song.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
You can tell.
When that song becomes their song, like we mentioned Garth Brooks earlier, The River, The Dance, right? Those two songs, along with many others, but The River and The Dance were our songs.
Yeah.
We would sing them back to him louder than he could sing them.
Yep.
That's when you know, and both those songs were written by somebody else.
I know.
So Garth Brooks made them famous, but he didn't write them.
No, he didn't.
And that's something that an artist needs to learn, is find people who are creative and can write songs that stick.
Yeah.
Then find artists that can play those songs that stick.
Yeah.
And then it's your voice that resonates through the song.
You tell the story.
It's the bottom line. You're the storyteller, right?
Yep.
You do that, you put all those pieces together, you've got a formula that works. Yeah. And then you become part of that fraternity. And then one day, wow, I'm tell you what, be a lot of people in that crowd that night. I'd be one of them for sure. That would be sitting in those chairs at the Grand Ole Opry and be very proud of you. Yeah. But it's a lot of work to get there.
Oh.
You know it.
I know it is.
Right? But knowing it's important.
Yeah.
A lot of people, whether it's from our little town, a guy like Glenn Murray, who's talented in hockey, like he paid the price. He traveled the roads. He sacrificed being away from his family. Yeah. Everyone thinks it was so easy for him, but there was a lot of sacrifice there being away, because families, well, big especially thing. For you guys.
Big thing.
Glenn too. I mean, his mom and dad and his sister Tracy, and that whole group was just, it's hard to be away. Glenn was only a teenager himself when he moved away to Sudbury when he was drafted in the OHL, and it's tough.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough. So it's not you're lucky.
No.
You know, and that's I really want people to know when you look at Autumn Carver on the stage is that, oh, well, you know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that Autumn Carver product.
Yeah.
Vocal lessons you do every week?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Music, the instrument, the guitar, you still work on your guitar?
Yep. Whenever I can get in, Dave, he is like wonderful. He's like taking me in and he lets me take free guitar lessons. I'm his only student.
Wow.
And he's been in the music, like for him, he was in the music industry for like 30, 40 years. And he did what he wanted to do. He's amazing. Amazing guitar player, amazing singer. He's written many songs. But he took me in, and he's done it for free and taught me. And now I've come a long way with him. Good. Anyway, whenever I can get in, he takes me, and it doesn't matter when, where, whatever.
It's good. Well, he sees that spark. He sees that.
Yeah.
And if you can help along the way to help somebody get along that path, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right? There's some very talented musicians where we live.
There is. Many.
I've met a lot of them along the way. I mean, it's we mentioned earlier J.D. Clark, you know, a friend of mine that has recorded at least a couple albums, and many great musicians that have it's hard to play country music here for money.
It is.
Right?
It is.
I mean, it's hard.
It is.
You're playing in a Legion. You're playing in, the festivals, but there's not a lot of them. Like, there's not like 50 festivals a summer.
You have to travel for festivals most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's so it's not easy, but there's a lot of solid country music here.
There is.
I know one of the families from here. I don't know if you know them or not, but the Sardi family, which is Nadine and Elaine and all those guys. Their dad actually was in music, and he taught all his daughters to play, and they're bluegrass.
Oh,
right?
Bluegrass.
They were bluegrass, and they were good. I mean, Pleasantville Signs, I think it is.
My boy Billy's mama.
Yeah, Billy's mama.
She gave me my drummer.
Yeah, she. There's a little shout out for the Sardi girls because they were something special, and it's, you don't have to go to Nashville to win, but it is the home run.
It is.
It's the home run, and it's a choice because once you get there, you're in the meat grinder. So I would say just when you make it, Keith Urban's a great example. He didn't go when he was 20 years old.
No.
Keith Urban went much later, right? So just be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Here, right?
Yeah.
Here and here. Just be prepared for it. And then once you understand the game you're in, then be the best you can be at that game.
Yeah.
So we'd love for you to play a song. I mean, it's obviously we're here. Right? So we've got a couple microphones we can use, and I'd like to hear something obviously original that you've done. So, Mike, can you give Autumn a hand here, and we'll set it up?
You're good?
We're good?
Anytime.
All right. This is a song that I recently wrote because I was trying to make a song for my graduation, but then this is what came out of it. It's a mother-daughter song for when I leave, basically. So it starts way back when I'm young. So here we go. I was 6 years old, crying to my mom, wondering why I couldn't go to the birthday that night. I was crying all night till I heard my mama say to me, I don't wanna be alone. I want all your hugs and kisses. I wanna see my baby grow. It's sad to see my babies growing up, but I guess I have to smile and watch you go. 10 years later, finally 16, ready to hit the road. it away. I was yelling at my mama. She didn't seem to want to go. Then she told me what she always said to me. I don't want to be alone. I want all her laughs and smiles. I want to see my baby fly. It's sad to see my babies growing up, but I guess I have to smile and watch you go. 18 years packing up my life, then I hit the road, but I see my mama cry. I look at her and smile. I shed a little tear, and I say to her what she's always said to me. I don't wanna be alone. I want all our laughs and smiles. I wanna be by my mama's side. I know it's sad to see me going, but mama, you have to smile and watch me go. P.S. Mama, XO, XO.
And the crowd at the Grand Ole Opry goes wild on Autumn Carver night. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. That was well done, girl.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thanks.
You know, when you hear a song and you can feel it.
Yeah.
And a lot of teenagers that go off to school after spending their whole lives with their family, that's relatable.
Yeah.
Right? So when you can write a song that relates to thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of other kids that go through, it takes, when you sang that song, it took me back to when I was 18 years old. And that means that that song has something that has some soul to it. So
Still needs a little touching up. but
yeah,
we'll
well,
get
you
there.
know what? I mean, everything starts with something, though,
Oh yeah.
right?
We'll get
It's
there.
amazing when you bring a bunch of musicians in and say, "Hey, I can clean it up for you, Autumn."
Yeah. Oh my
you know?
God.
And they're used to it, right?
Yeah.
They know when they have a good song, and then they just
Yeah. They do their thing.
they do. Studio musicians are a big part of country music that people don't. It's like watching the credits in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we would go watch movies, and then all of a sudden, the movie ends and the credits start, and most people get up
Everybody
and
gets up
leave,
and leaves.
and all those people that have contributed to that
To that
movie
movie?
is in those credits.
Yep. And people usually always see just the actors, and that's it.
Exactly, and the hard work
Yeah.
that goes into anything
Everything.
is there, and in music, that's a big part of it.
Yep.
Those studio musicians are so talented,
Mm-hmm.
so gifted. They're just not. They just don't have it.
No.
And to be a front person, you got to have it.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't mean that they don't contribute in a huge
No,
way.
You're right.
Huge way.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks for coming into the studio.
Thank you for inviting me.
Wow. I mean, this is part one of many parts along the way. I'll follow her around a couple times if we have to, and do it on the road if she gets there. We'll just grab the microphone
Hopefully
and say,
that will happen.
yeah. I'll say, they'll say, do you have passes to talk to her? I'll say, Autumn, we have passes. Yeah, he has passes.
They're with
Yeah,
me.
for sure. So, good luck this year, and obviously in school.
Yeah.
Good luck in your relationship
Thank you.
with your boyfriend. I don't have to say good luck with your family because
No.
you have a phenomenal family, and then be a bright star in the sky.
Yeah.
Shine bright, and never burn out. That's all I got to say to you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Autumn Carver at the weekly Woodcast with Dennis and Michael Woodworth. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.